My dear listener, angels have an urgent message for you today. Something is happening right now in the spiritual realm that you need to understand. The person you've been praying about, hoping for, waiting on, they want to end it. Not because they don't love you, not because the connection isn't real, but because everybody already knows the truth, and they can no longer hide. Let me explain what heaven is revealing. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange energy, that pulling back, that distance that seems to grow each day. And somewhere deep in your spirit, you've been asking, why now? Why, after everything we've been through, do they suddenly want to walk away? Here is what the angels want you to know. The truth of your connection has become undeniable to everyone around them. Family members see it. Friends recognize it. Even strangers can sense the energetic bond between you two. The love you share radiates outward like a beacon, and it can no longer be hidden in the shadows. This is terrifying for them, because for months, maybe even years, they've been able to keep your connection compartmentalized. They could love you in private while maintaining a different image in public. They could make promises to you behind closed doors while never having to answer questions from those who watch their life unfold. But something has shifted in the spiritual atmosphere. The veil has been lifted. The protection they once had over their secret has dissolved. Now, when they speak to their mother, she asks about you. When they gather with friends, your name comes up. When they post on social media, people wonder why you're not there. The invisible walls they built around your connection are crumbling, and the exposure is making them panic. Hiding has been their survival strategy. Keeping your connection private, keeping promises vague, keeping one foot in and one foot out. This has allowed them to avoid the pressure of choosing. They didn't have to face judgment from family members who might not approve. They didn't have to explain to friends why they're still holding on when circumstances seem complicated. They didn't have to confront their own fear of commitment, because as long as nobody was watching, they could stay suspended in indecision. But God is removing that option. The universe is collapsing the hiding places. Every excuse, every justification, every way they've tried to keep you in limbo while they figure things out. It's all being exposed to the light, and when you can no longer hide, you must choose. That's why they want to end it, not because the love isn't real, but because real love demands real action, and action requires courage. They're not sure they have. They're standing at a crossroads, looking at two paths. One where they step fully into this connection and claim you publicly, and another where they walk away entirely to escape the pressure. In their mind, ending it feels safer than facing the accountability that comes with choosing you in front of everyone who's been watching. Your person is carrying an immense weight right now. Every time you've expressed your frustration, they've felt it. Every sigh, every moment of disappointment, every tear you've cried in private, they know. The invisible currents of your longing have reached them, and it's crushing them. They lie awake at night replaying conversations with you. They feel the ache in your voice when you ask them when things will change. They see the sadness in your eyes even when you try to hide it. And all of this compounds the shame they already carry. They've made promises before, promises of change, promises that soon would finally arrive, promises that they would step up, choose you, and honor What you both know is sacred, but those promises keep getting delayed. Life gets complicated. Fear creeps in. Old patterns resurface, and each delay makes the weight heavier. They remember every promise they didn't keep. They remember every time they told you just a little longer, and then let more months slip by. They remember the hope in your eyes and the disappointment that followed, and they hate themselves for it. Here's what's really happening. They're ashamed that others can see what they're doing to you, ashamed that friends and family are watching them string you along, ashamed that the truth of their indecision is no longer private, it's public. When people know, there's accountability. When people are watching, there's judgment and the embarrassment of being seen as someone who won't claim the love they have is pushing them toward a dramatic choice to end it entirely rather than face the accountability of committing to it. But here's what they don't understand yet. The shame they're running from is actually the catalyst for their transformation. This discomfort, this exposure, this pressure, it's not punishment from the universe. It's divine intervention designed to force the growth they've been avoiding. But God says, this is not the ending you fear. This is the breakthrough you've been praying for. Listen carefully, because this is where the angel's message becomes crystal clear. Heaven is using this moment of exposure, this moment when everybody knows, to force a decision that has been delayed for far too long. You cannot have a halfway love. You cannot build a future on hidden promises and secret connections. You cannot create lasting union when one person is always looking over their shoulder, worried about what others will think. God is removing the middle ground because the middle ground was keeping both of you stuck in a cycle of hope and disappointment. He's creating a crisis not to destroy your connection, but to purify it, to burn away everything that isn't authentic, to force both of you out of comfortable illusions and into uncomfortable truth. Your person wants to end it because they're being forced to choose all in or all out, and that terrifies them. But here's the divine truth. When God removes the middle ground, He does so because He's already prepared the way forward. He doesn't create chaos without purpose. He doesn't expose what's hidden just to embarrass or shame. He does it because He loves you both too much to let you stay in a situation that isn't honoring the full potential of your connection. The ending they're considering is not the one that will happen. What will happen is this. They will face themselves. They will be forced to answer the question they've been avoiding for so long. Do I have the courage to love this person the way they deserve? And as they sit in that question, as they contemplate life without you, as they imagine someone else eventually giving you the love they've been too afraid to offer, something inside them will shift. The fear of losing you will become greater than the fear of choosing you. The pain of your absence will outweigh the discomfort of public commitment, and they will realize that hiding was never protecting them. It was slowly killing the most beautiful thing in their life. Because the truth that everybody knows isn't just that you love them. The truth that everybody knows is that they love you too. And losing you would be the greatest mistake of their life. That truth is reverberating through their entire social circle right now. Friends are saying it. Family members are seeing it. Even people who barely know them can sense that they're about to let something precious slip away. This collective awareness is creating a spiritual pressure that will ultimately work in your favor. If you feel led to support this mission of spreading prophetic and anointed words from heaven, consider contributing through a super thanks, whether it's $5, $10, $20, or more. May God bless every giver 100-fold and return to you the desires of your heart in divine timing. Your offering helps us continue to share God's love with those who need it most. Together, we are building a community rooted in faith, anchored in love, and aligned with purpose. Now, here is where your strength comes in. Heaven is asking you to do something that will feel counterintuitive. Let them go to find you, not forever, not as punishment, but as an act of faith. You see, as long as you're holding on tightly, chasing, pleading, reminding them of their promises, sending texts, checking in, making yourself available whenever they finally decide to reach out, they can stay in that comfortable place of, "I'll decide later." They have no urgency. They have no fear of loss. They know you'll be there tomorrow, next week, next month. Your presence is guaranteed in their mind, which means your value becomes taken for granted. But when you release them, when you step back and say, "I will not beg for love that should be freely given," something powerful happens in the spiritual realm. You activate their fear of loss. Suddenly, the theoretical concept of losing you becomes a tangible reality. When your texts stop coming, when you stop making yourself available, when they notice you're not checking their social media anymore, when they hear through mutual connections that you're actually moving forward with your life, panic sets in. The comfortable assumption that you'll always be waiting disappears, and in its place comes a desperate urgency to act before they lose you forever. This is not manipulation. This is spiritual law. People don't value what they believe they already possess. They only treasure what they're afraid to lose. Right now, they think you'll always be there. They think your love is guaranteed. But God is asking you to show them what your absence feels like, not through cruelty or games or manipulation, but through dignified, peaceful release. When you stop pursuing, when you start focusing on your own healing and growth, when you reclaim your peace and begin rebuilding your life without them at the center, they will feel the shift in the atmosphere. And that shift will be more powerful than any words you could ever say. Your silence will speak louder than your pleading ever did. Your absence will create more movement than your presence ever could. Your peace will disturb them more than your pain ever has. What the angels want you to understand is that you and your person are mirroring each other right now. You're both standing at thresholds. You're both being asked to grow. You're both facing choices that require courage. The situations might look different on the surface, but the spiritual energy is identical. They're being asked to choose courage over fear in their relationship, to step out of hiding and into authentic love, to face the judgment of others and choose you anyway. This is their threshold, but you're being asked to do something equally courageous, to choose yourself, to step out of waiting and into living, to face the fear of losing them and trust God anyway. This is your threshold. The difference is this: you're ready, they're not yet. You've already done so much of the inner work. You've processed your pain. You've identified your patterns. You've grown in ways they can't even see yet. You're standing at the edge of your breakthrough while they're still wrestling with the fears that have held them back. But here's the beautiful part. Your growth accelerates theirs. This isn't just poetic language. This is spiritual truth. You are energetically connected. When you heal a wound, they feel it in their own spirit. When you break through a limiting belief, it weakens the same belief in them. When you step into your power, it calls them forward into theirs. As you heal, they feel it. As you step into your power, they're inspired to step into theirs. As you release the need to control the outcome, you create the space for divine orchestration to work. You become a living example of the courage they need to embody. Your transformation creates a template for theirs. This is why God is asking you to focus on your own journey right now, not as punishment, not as abandonment, but as the most powerful act of love you could offer. Because when you rise, you create a vacuum that pulls them upward too. This is not about detachment. This is about trust. Trust that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you. Trust that real love will always find its way back. Trust that God is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. Trust that your personal evolution is not separate from your love story. It's the foundation of it. And while you're focusing on your own journey, know this: heaven is handling those who have tried to interfere with your connection. There have been people, perhaps a third party, perhaps family members who disapproved, perhaps even mutual friends who whispered doubts, who have actively worked to keep you apart. Maybe there's someone who positioned themselves as an alternative option. Maybe there's a family member who planted seeds of doubt about your worthiness. Maybe there are people in their circle who encouraged them to keep their options open, to not commit too quickly, to protect themselves from getting hurt. These people thought they were helping, or worse, they knew exactly what they were doing and enjoyed the chaos they created. They thought they were winning. They thought their influence was strong enough to destroy what you have. They felt powerful watching you suffer while they played puppet master in the background. But the angels say, karma is turning its gaze upon them now. The universe has been watching. God has been keeping record, and the time of reckoning has arrived. The truth is emerging. Their manipulations are being exposed. The lies they told, the narratives they created, the ways they tried to position themselves as better options, all of it is crumbling under the weight of divine justice. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to expose them or call them out or fight for vindication. God is your vindicator, and He is making sure that everyone, including your person, sees clearly who was real and who was playing games. The third party who tried to insert themselves, their true character is being revealed. The family member who worked against you, their motivations are coming to light. The friends who gave bad advice, your person is starting to see through their agenda. Justice in the spiritual realm doesn't always look like earthly consequences. Sometimes it's simply the removal of influence. The person who once had your person's ear suddenly finds their advice is no longer being sought. The third party who seemed so appealing suddenly shows their true colors in an undeniable way. The obstacles that seemed insurmountable suddenly dissolve. This is God's justice, not always loud or dramatic, but always perfect and always on time. As this emotional chapter closes, another door is opening. The door of abundance. The universe is shifting your financial energy in preparation for the next season of your life. Where there was struggle, relief is coming. Where there was scarcity, opportunity is beginning to bloom. This is not coincidental. Your emotional breakthrough and your financial breakthrough are connected. As you release what no longer serves you emotionally, you create space for material blessings to flow in. God is encouraging you to think bigger, to diversify, to explore new income streams, to plant seeds in multiple gardens. Maybe it's that business idea you've been sitting on for years. Maybe it's the side hustle you keep talking about but never start. Maybe it's finally asking for that raise or promotion you've earned. Maybe it's investing in yourself through education or training. Maybe it's simply opening your mind to opportunities you've been too distracted to notice. The universe is saying, expand. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on a single source. Create multiple streams so that your financial security isn't dependent on any one thing. This is not just about money. This is about freedom. Financial stability gives you the power to make choices from a place of abundance rather than fear. It allows you to walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't honor your worth. When you're financially secure, you're no longer vulnerable to staying in situations out of necessity. You're free to choose love because you want it, not because you need it. You're free to set boundaries without fear of consequences. You're free to live according to your values instead of your survival needs. The angels are showing that legal matters, contracts, or financial disputes that have been lingering are about to tilt in your favor. Maybe it's a lawsuit that's been dragging on. Maybe it's a contract negotiation that's been stalled. Maybe it's a debt you've been working to resolve. Whatever it is, the scales are balancing. Victory is near, but proceed with wisdom. Read every agreement carefully. Ask questions. Don't rush into anything just because it looks good on the surface. Protect yourself, not because you're in danger, but because divine wisdom ensures lasting peace. God is opening doors for you, but He's also giving you the discernment to walk through the right ones and avoid the traps disguised as opportunities. And now, let's talk about what you really want to know. Will they come back? The answer is yes, but not in the way you've been imagining. They won't come back because you waited patiently, proving your loyalty through months or years of uncertainty. They won't come back because you were understanding when they asked for space, or because you forgave them every time they disappointed you, or because you loved them through all their inconsistency. Those things matter, but they're not what will ultimately bring them back. They will come back because they finally see what life looks like without you, and that vision will terrify them into action. Right now, you're still in their life. Maybe not in the way you want, but you're there. They can text you when they miss you. They can reach out when they're lonely. They can keep you on the hook with vague promises and occasional attention. But when you truly step away, when they experience the reality of your absence, when they go through something difficult and realize you're not there to help them process it, when they achieve something exciting and you're not there to celebrate with them, when they see you laughing with someone else or simply living your life without them, at the center, everything changes when they realize that the person who loved them unconditionally, who saw their potential when no one else did, who held space for them even when they didn't deserve it, who believed in them through all their self-doubt, when they realize that person is no longer chasing them, no longer waiting by the phone, no longer putting their life on hold, that's when everything shifts. The luxury of taking their time disappears. The comfort of knowing you'll be there dissolves, and the fear of permanent loss drives them to finally do what they should have done all along. Suddenly, the promises they made won't feel like obligations. They'll feel like privileges. The commitment they feared will become the very thing they crave, because they'll finally understand. You are not one option among many. You are the one they cannot afford to lose. This realization won't come because you convinced them. It will come because your absence created the space for them to feel the depth of what they're losing. And once they feel it, truly feel it, nothing will be able to stop them from coming back. This reunion is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the when is being determined right now by your willingness to let go and let God. The more you release control, the faster divine timing can work. The more you focus on yourself, the sooner they'll realize they're losing you. The more you step into your power, the more irresistible you become. So here is your prophetic word from heaven today. The ending they want to create is actually the beginning God is orchestrating. Their desire to end it is not the universe saying you're not meant to be together. It's the universe saying, no more half measures, no more hiding, no more waiting. It's time for a real decision. God is forcing their hand because He loves you too much to let you waste another year in limbo. He's collapsing the middle ground because the middle ground was suffocating your spirit and stunting your growth. And when that decision comes, and it will come soon, it won't be a reluctant compromise. It won't be them choosing you because they ran out of other options. It won't be them settling for you because they're tired of being alone. It will be a wholehearted, public, undeniable choice. They will choose you not because they have to, but because they finally realize they cannot live without you. They will choose you in front of everyone who's been watching. They will choose you despite the judgment or inconvenience. They will choose you with the kind of certainty that makes up for all the months or years of doubt. But until then, you must choose yourself. Choose your healing over their timeline. Choose your peace over their confusion. Choose your growth over their comfort. Choose your abundance over their scarcity mindset. Choose your dignity over their indecision. Because the woman or man they come back to will not be the same person who was begging for crumbs. You will be standing in your full power, radiating with divine confidence, living in alignment with your purpose. And that version of you is irresistible. That version of you doesn't need them. You want them. And that shift from need to want changes everything. The truth that everybody knows is this: you are the one. You have always been the one. And soon, they will have the courage to say it out loud, not whispered in private, not hidden from the world, but proclaimed with clarity and conviction. And when that moment comes, you'll understand why you had to walk through this fire. You'll see how every painful delay was actually divine protection. You'll recognize how every disappointment was redirecting you towards something better. And you'll be grateful, not for the suffering, but for the strength it created in you. Hold this truth in your heart. Trust the timing even when it feels impossibly slow. Trust the process even when it looks like everything is falling apart. And most of all, trust that God has already written your happy ending. The chapters between here and there might be difficult, but the ending is already secured in heaven. You will have your reunion. You will have your public commitment. You will have the love you've been fighting for, but it will come in God's timing, in God's way, when both of you are ready to honor it the way it deserves to be honored. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the one listening to this message right now. I thank you that you see their tears, you hear their prayers, and you are working behind the scenes in ways they cannot yet see. Lord, I pray for supernatural strength to release what they've been holding onto so tightly. Give them the courage to choose themselves, to walk in dignity, and to trust your timing even when it feels impossibly slow. Heal the parts of their heart that have been wounded by broken promises and delayed hope. Restore their faith not just in this connection, but in themselves and in your goodness. I speak protection over their heart. I declare that no weapon formed against this connection shall prosper. I pray that every third party, every distraction, every lie, and every manipulation crumbles under the weight of your truth. Let every obstacle be removed, every enemy be silenced, and every door that needs to open swing wide in Jesus' name. Father, I pray for their person. Soften their heart, open their eyes, give them the courage to step into the love they've been running from. Remove the fear, remove the pride, and remove every obstacle that's keeping them from choosing love. Let this moment of wanting to end it become the very catalyst that brings them to their knees in surrender. Show them clearly what they're about to lose. Let the pain of that realization be so intense that they cannot ignore it any longer. And Lord, I pray for divine abundance, emotional, spiritual, and financial, to flood into this person's life. May they see breakthroughs in every area. May doors open that no one can shut. May they walk in the fullness of your promises. Release financial miracles, career opportunities, and unexpected blessings. Let them experience your provision in ways that restore their confidence and remind them of their worth. We trust you, God. We surrender this situation into your hands, and we thank you in advance for the testimony that is coming. We know that what the enemy meant for evil, you are turning for good. We know that this crisis is not the end. It's the beginning of something more beautiful than we can imagine. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. If this message resonated with your spirit, let me know by typing Amen in the comments. And remember, God's timing is perfect. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Hold on just a little longer. Your miracle is on the way.